it's like the gene is from the dad's and or mom's side, like the grand.
All of these genes came from these people's parents. So these parents passed down genes to these people, and these person's parents passed down genes to them.
So what if like?
So you actually are getting a quarter of your grandparents' genes.
Yeah, but what if they have the gene, like the parent does, but it gets passed, like it's just not dominant. But
Then that's called a carrier.
Yeah, but
Do you
when
guys
it's
read that?
passed on, then they have it. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they cheated.
Well, no. If this was attached and attached, there's no dominant allele there. They express the trait. There's only one allele. Little D's everywhere. If there's big D's down here,
It's an image first.
that's way, way inappropriate. And if you third period don't know what he said, good. All right. So, yes. Is there's a way to tell if it's a boy or a girl? They go, it's a boy.
Before, well, not before you're pregnant, but while you're pregnant, or before. Is there a way that you can do something?
Yeah, they do. They do lots of studies to do it, but they can do sonograms and see it.
No, I mean, is there something you do to do?
Only human. They can only manipulate. They can artificially inseminate you. Like, no, they don't allow it. Yes,
Okay, so
it's against the law.
If there's a big D and a little d, then it's a purebred?
No, purebreds are these. So it's either homozygous dominant or homozygous recessive or purebred, meaning they only have one copy. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
These are called hybrids. Okay, guys, we got to get back on topic because we have to go. More human genetics, I promise, next week, which I'll answer a lot of these questions. Now, so far we can tell what three people's genotypes are based off of pedigree. Can you tell me for sure what these two's genotypes are?
No way.
Sure you can.
Mostly hybrid.
What does Dad have to give both of these?
Little D.
Has to give both of these little D's. Has to be one of those little D's. So Mom had to have given the big D, and that's these people's genotypes. Do you guys understand how you do this now?
Yeah.
Okay? Right, that's pedigrees in a nutshell. On the test on Friday, I will not make you build a pedigree. It will be there. It will be there for you guys to interpret. I'm going to listen to the hint, you guys. Online, look at pedigrees. There's lots of examples of it where it asks questions like, I'll give pedigrees like this, without all of this stuff in it, so I'll fill these out. And most of the time I give you where there's some nasty disease that these people have. And then I'll give you like stuff like this.
All girls.
Okay, so I'll give you something like this. Shh, please pay attention. This is not, you guys, this is not what it says in your notes. I just threw these up here. It is correct from here up if that's your genotypes. But these I kind of threw in there. I'll give you something like this to look at. Shh, Sabrina. And then your first directions will be fill in the genotypes of all the individuals. But I'll give you if it's recessive or if the trait marked as recessive or dominant. Okay? And from this, that'll be basically all I ask you. Is give me everybody's genotype and defend it, telling me how you know that. Okay? So this is going to be one of the questions on the test. I guarantee there'll just be a picture. Tell me everybody's genotype. There'll be little like underline there, underline there. There'll be a line there, a line there, a line there. Here, 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 here. Fill them all in with genotypes. Here, I mean like this would be big D, little d, little d, little d. Just fill them in. You don't have to write homozygous, dominant, or recessive. You just put in the letters that represent that. And then you have to tell me how you know that. Okay? Yes, Ethan.
Would there have to be like another little square circle next to the?
Yeah, on here there would be a wife added to that, and a husband and a wife added to that. That have kids, but I just kind of, okay. So it'll be all like that. Yes, they have to be married. And what happens, you guys, if you see this?
Whoa.
Ew.
You see some weird.
Exactly.
Ew.
That is you. You'll see those. Yeah, that's you. And that used to happen. And we'll talk about this when we get into human genetics.
Cause disorders.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, so the perfect example of the, quiet you guys. The perfect example is the royal family from England. They were inbred for generations. The reason why is because they would only mate with other blue bloods, they called them, royal families, and within their immediate family. To where they'd be, oh, we have to date other royals. So what happened? They all became hemophiliacs.
What's that mean?
Means your blood will not clot. So in this, if you have a recessive disorder, say instead of this being attached earlobes, the little d is for hemophilia. So you don't have a hemophilia if you have these two genotypes, but this gives you hemophilia. In this case, see how many people don't have it? So that will get bred out because it's a recessive trait, unless you start marrying your siblings. And then that trait is more likely to be passed on. Okay, so that's why there's so many mutations. That's why it is illegal in this country to marry anything from a fourth cousin up.
It's illegal.
Illegal.
They could control what you do with your life.
I believe that for a long time. You guys, that statement is ridiculous, which is true. But there are some things that, yeah,
So if
it's...
I wanted to marry my, not saying I want to, I'm just for preference. If I wanted to marry my brother and have a kid, like,
It's illegal and they would forbid it. You
Would
could...
they kill you?
No, they can throw you in jail. It's just like, yeah, they can jail you.
Oh,
They throw you in jail.
Well, the gene pool's bad enough, they don't want to get
how would they catch me? I'm just like, change me.
Yeah, good luck with that. Okay,
Can you do it in other countries?
yes.
Where?
Can you get married in other
Okay,
countries?
but once again, the royal family, listen to this, went from one case, Queen Victoria I was way back in the 1500s. She had hemophilia. She married her cousin, who was a carrier for hemophilia, and they had a whole bunch of hemophiliacs in the royal family, to a point where they were all dying. They'd get cut. Hemophilia, if you get a small cut, you bleed to death, because your blood will not clot.
Oh my
So
god.
they started dying. And then they started going, hey, we had a couple of our offspring start marrying away, and none of their kids had hemophiliacs. So when they started figuring out marrying close relatives is not a great idea. Because it's not just hemophilia. There's a lot of recessive disorders that if you marry close siblings can get passed on.
So you
Okay,
can
very-
you can burn with like without a arm or like things like that.
Yeah, fourth cousin, I believe it is, and down. So that's like your sister's brother's cousin.
So that's your
Yeah, fourth, yeah, it's way down the line. Okay, so enough about that. We'll get more to that later. Yes, Elise, last question.
Okay, so if there were brother and a sister, but they got separated at birth, they didn't know, so they ended up meeting again, and they got married and had a kid. What if they didn't know they were?
That's why in a lot of states blood tests are still required.
So what is that?
They do your genetic makeup.
Before you get married?
Yeah, before they make sure you're not too
Better
compatible.
test.
Okay, but that's actually that would be bad. Okay, last thing. Everybody, get out your genetic problem set, please. The next one and last one, your genetic problem set.
No, no.
Yeah.
Almost killed you.
Yeah, unless the parts with the dihybrids,
We didn't do any dihybrids
Wait,
on
is
there,
it
did we?
true that we're
Yeah.
all
No, we won't do that. Oh, there's one.
dihybrid crosses and then with the wolves.
Share my
Yeah, we'll get that one later. Don't worry about those for now.
Yeah, it's all
Okay. Only a few minutes left. First thing, quiet. Shush.
Oh god.
Does everybody see the front of their genetics problem set?
Yep.
Okay, does everybody see the front? We'll get to the rest of it later. Does everybody see the front?
Yeah.
All right.
Bingo.
Everybody get out a blank piece of paper.
Have none.
Blank piece of paper.
I'm sorry about the legal thing, like I was yelling.
Brittany, can you get that? Can they see it? I'm really going to show that to my third period class. So those for my third period class, you're going to want to concentrate. This is going to be entirely on this question. This is on my website as well. It's under practicing Punnett squares. on the assignment handouts tab down there towards the bottom. So it's practice Punnett squares PowerPoint.
Are you cutting like?
So if you have an iPad, please get that out and start looking at it if you're in third period. You guys, please.
I'm sorry.
Can we write this?
Juliana, you're being recorded.
Do you have a sharpener?
Can we write that down?
Okay. Everybody read this. This is on my website, so this will be completed by you guys as practice, but we're going to do the first couple together. Using the example from the first page of your genetics problem set, there's an example, and it shows you step by step what to do. We're going to go over these steps using this problem to answer the question. What I encourage you to do is follow this step-by-step procedure until you get really good at this. Like I've done probably, thousands of these, thousands and thousands. So I can look at these and determine what the answer is just by looking at the question. You can't yet. So follow the step-by-step directions. So, first thing, read the question. So it says, in humans, we've already talked about this, detached earlobes are dominant over attached earlobes. So it gives you the alleles. What I want you guys to learn from this is, as we move on, these will disappear.
Yeah, that's what, it's hard.
These will disappear. Why? Because you should be able to assign a letter to them. The way that it is usually done is you find the dominant trait and you use the first letter in that dominant trait, the capital letter, to represent that trait. So the dominant trait is detached earlobes. So I used a capital D. If you used a capital E, no big deal. I don't care if you used an X. Use whatever you want as long as you understand what the answers are and can get the correct answers from it. The letters are irrelevant. I just use whatever is the dominant trait, and then I use the capital letter for that. The recessive trait is attached earlobes, so I use the little letter. Don't use A. Use the same letter but the lowercase letter. That's the way they do it in all genetics problems, from high school through college, through everywhere. Even geneticists still use this terminology, so that's just the way it's done. This is the way Mendel did it. So it's been done since Gregor Mendel first started doing this. So then, what's the question? If you have detached earlobes and are heterozygous, so this is you, you're heterozygous. And then once again, that will disappear after we get better at this. For that trait, and your partner has attached earlobes. Doesn't give you the genotype because you should know it just from it saying attached earlobes. What are the genotypic and phenotypic ratios of this cross? The most important thing, the way I grade these, I don't even look at the Punnett square. I look for these, and if they're right, I stop. Only like a math problem, if you miss this last part, do I look back at your Punnett square to see where you went wrong. Okay, and then I can give you partial credit. If you can go from this and tell me what these are based off, you're just really smart, that's great. But it's just like math. If you skip a step and you're wrong, I just mark it wrong. Okay? So in step 1, Taya, what's it tell you to do? On your worksheet where it says genetic problem set. So we're looking at our genetics problem set and it says step 1. What's it say to do in step 1?
Set up a cross.
Set up a cross. So the first thing is you. You are big D and little d. And then you marry somebody that has attached earlobes. Say that out loud, Joey.
Little d, little d.
So they have attached, so they have to be little d, little d. Does everybody understand that? What's it say to do next?
Make a
Make
Yeah.
a Punnett square.
Make a Punnett square. Step 2. Make Punnett square. Draw a Punnett square. Everybody fill that in real quick. On your separate piece of paper. When you're done with this, are you done?